John Skelton was released from the mental health facility and immediately placed in custody by agents from the Toledo office of the FBI. Warrants were issued for 3 counts of parental kidnapping. Currently he's in custody of the agents of the Toledo office and will be ultimately lodged at the Lucas County Jail.
Tonight, fast-breaking news in the search for 3 missing brothers who disappeared while spending Thanksgiving with their father, who was in the middle of an ugly divorce from their mother. And cops now fear the worst. They warn they might not find these adorable little boys alive. Today, the second their dad was released from a mental ward where he was being treated for trying to kill himself, cops arrested him on charges of parental kidnapping. So tonight, he is behind bars as we speak. But is he talking? Where are his boys? New details suggest a very bitter custody battle might have triggered this entire nightmare. The 3 little boys, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, were last seen Thanksgiving Day, of all things, playing in their dad's backyard, innocent and happy. They were visiting him as part of court-ordered visitation. And we are hearing that the dad did not want their mom to get custody. Their father, John Skelton, originally told cops, yeah, that guy right there in the sunglasses, that he gave the boys to a female friend because he didn't want them to see him try to kill himself. His so-called suicide attempt, well, guess what? It left him with a mere broken ankle. Tonight, cops say that female friend, she doesn't even exist. He lied. What did this man do with his 3 sons?
We've continued to talk to virtually all parties involved in this investigation, including Mr. Skelton. Statements that he's made to investigators would indicate that it's not going to be a positive outcome.
The mother of the boys reported them missing when she came to pick them up. They were nowhere to be found. They had vanished as if into thin air. Tonight, we're getting more information about this couple's bitter, vicious custody battle. It's bad. Did this father decide, well, if I can't have my boys, then no one will? Is it possible? Look at those faces. Could anybody do that? 1-877, JVM says, give me a call. What are your theories? 1-877-586-7297. Straight out to my fantastic expert panel. We begin with Bill Foster, a friend and neighbor of the Skelton family. Bill, I know this is very difficult for you. Thank you for being here and joining us by phone. You've been involved in the search. How are they characterizing this search when they talk to the volunteers such as yourself, sir?
Well, I'm over the civilian part of the search party going on, and we are covering it as a recovery effort.
Who is using that terminology?
Actually, you know, it comes from higher above. We take our orders from the fire department, which, you know, takes their orders from FBI and the police officials, you know.
But you actually heard someone in law enforcement refer to this as a recovery mission?
Yes, we have been, you know, informed that this is a recovery mission. You know, that's why it's so crucial in the search that we don't disturb any evidence that we've, you know, come across in these searches.
Oh, well, I pray that that is an inaccurate description and that look at these faces. I mean, we have to take a moment and look at these innocent little faces.
Absolutely.
It is incomprehensible. Bill Foster, you were neighbors of the Skelton family. You know the mom, you know the dad. What is your characterization of the deterioration of this family as they headed toward divorce?
You know, there's been a lot of things happened. You know, the father took off with the kids back in September. The mom and family had to go to Florida and retrieve the children. And as they started through the process, you know, he was kicked out of Florida himself by the judge down there. And you know, they were trying to just be happy. You know, Tanya is a good mother. You know, you know, she was, you know, trying to get counseling for the children, you know, going to church, and, you know, because, you know, it still was a mom and a dad. They just wasn't going to be together. And, you know,
did he seem like the kind of guy who would be capable of hurting these 3 little faces here?
I would never put that part in it. But you have to be a very bad monster to hurt these 3 little boys.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That's the way to describe it. Let's recap and review it. And this looks like the suspect there being wheeled out once he was released from the mental ward. Okay, in the wheelchair there. Take a look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's him being wheeled out after he tried to commit suicide and ended up merely breaking his ankle. Mike Brooks, your analysis of Bill Foster saying that law enforcement is describing this as a recovery mission.
Well, after what they said today, that they do not anticipate a positive outcome, I'm going to have to say, unfortunately, you look at these three little boys and you hope, and you pray that they're found alive. But right now, Jane, it's not looking that way. You know, they're still asking the public if anyone had seen that blue 2000 Dodge Caravan, you know, along a 25-mile stretch of roadway, you know, between Thursday at 1:30 and Friday at 2:30 with this Michigan registration, 9JQH93, to let anyone know, you know, if you just saw it anywhere, please contact law enforcement. They're trying to put together a timeline because right now they just don't know, because it doesn't seem that he's cooperating with police at all right now.
Well, the parents of these three boys were involved in a very ugly custody battle, and I'm holding the divorce papers in my hand, and boy, they are filled with some vicious, vicious charges. Now, this man here points to the criminal record of the boy's mother in these court documents I'm holding in my hand. She reportedly served a year in jail for having sex with a 14-year-old boy back in 1998, long before her sons were born. It now appears that Dad, in these court documents, was using that argument against her, okay? And we also know that when she filed for divorce, the dad, as you heard Bill Foster mention, took off to Florida with the boys without permission. It looks to me, Dr. Judy Kuriansky, that these little boys were pawns in a very vicious divorce war.
In an ugly way. I know, Jane, you could say, don't rush to judgment. No one's been accused yet, but I would have to say, in my psychological opinion, the dad could have done it, because there are such dads that are called family annihilators, and they engage in what is called murder-suicides and also altruistic murders. It's a way of saying, well, I'm saving these kids from a worse fate because the wife, as you even saw in the court papers, was a child molester, and so I'm saving her is number one, saving my kids from a fate of that my wife would have done, and number two, he's so angry at the woman. This is what the family annihilators do when the men kill their kids. They are angry at the wife, and they take revenge and their anger out on the kids instead of the wife.
It's a horrible thought. By the way, this woman, I wouldn't describe her as a child molester. She did something that was a horrible thing, to have sex with a 14-year-old, but that is why she is listed as a sex offender. I don't know that child molest. I mean, it's all so disturbing. On the other side of the break,
the profile,
we are going to talk. Okay, hold on. Bill Foster, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that right there. Yeah. And this community, we could care less about the mother's past. We all know what she did. You know, she paid her time. She followed the law, even at this time when she has to stay at different places. I know for a fact that she follows that registry to a T. She would never, ever harm a hair on them kids' head. And, you know, he knew that when he married her. He knew that when he had 3 children with her. He's just a monster and does not want to pay child support. And God have mercy on his soul. Because to do something like that, to throw up her past, it has nothing to do with trying to bring these 3 kids home.
Exactly. Yeah, and Bill, you make a very good point. Anyone who would be willing to destroy their wife in that way by revealing the most embarrassing detail of her past, what is that man capable of? Everybody, including Bill, stay right there. We're taking...
This is so horrible. And I ask anyone that views the video tonight to please light a candle for these 3 little boys. The reason for the candle is to shine a light upon these boys so that they could be found. They need to be found.